Hello everybody, Sedrik and Sidra here for CR Wrestling Commentary, Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view, and we're going to start off with the pre-show, the Honor Rumble, and look, I could go into details of this, and I might recall some things I might want to bring up, but if I do, it's going to be a long one before we even get to the show.
Yeah.
You know, but I did like this. We liked this until the end. So, let's go in order first of the entrance, and then I'll start speaking about other stuff. As a matter of fact, I kind of speak on things as we go with the entrance. I'll do that. Okay, try to knock it all out with one little piece, because this is the podcast here. So, we got 16 competitors. The first to come out was Brian Johnson. Mecca versus everyone. He cuts an awesome promo.
Very much so. He had old school parrot green tights and he like a throwback from the 80s.
Yes. And he cut a great promo, gets to the ring, and going on the last two Philadelphia, crowd, he thought he was going to be the man. But this crowd just won't feeling it.
They were kind of tepid. They weren't feeling it.
There's a chance that maybe the other pay-per-views, they watched all this wrestling, they seen it all, and they just used this to get out the house. There's a chance. It was a small crowd, but, I think it was good enough. But he gets to the ring, and he's like, I'm in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and they're like,
hey.
He said, no, I said, I'm in Pennsylvania, and all he's doing everything.
They're just like, hey.
I'm like, man, what you do is say, I am here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I am giving every one of you $100 now. He would have got a pop.
He would have got bum rushed.
But he's first. He was, basically, hey, if I'm going to be in this, I need to be first because it's me versus everyone. That's great. So then the next two to come out in order, Brian Malones of the Beer City, he's the Beer City Bruiser comes out next. So the bouncers are out. So Brian first, Beer City Bruiser second, and Brian Johnson does his best to fight them both. So, it's all good. I enjoyed that. No problems. They do what they do. Then Danhausen come out. And he curses Malones. And he goes through his little things trying to choke slam them both, and then he gets choke slammed himself. And then the greatest intro in wrestling history happens. The fifth competitor has to come out. The horn sounds. Who is it? Riccaboni, who is it? And then Caprice Coleman, he's like, he got his tongue stuck out. He takes off his shirt. And we're like, oh, snap. I marks out for that. I marks out for that.
So Caprice is a great wrestler, and we were wondering the whole time, how did he wrestle?
He's wrestling in other places.
He's obviously in wrestling shape. So
he gets to the ring, and he takes on, the bouncers. He eliminates them. That's what he do, and that's in order of elimination down here. So instead of giving more of those away, so they go through something. The next one to come out is Sledge, and I'm like, because I don't remember this guy too well.
I remember from one match,
and I'm like, well, we'll see. Sledge, I'll say this of him: he can wrestle, and
he had nice pants.
Keep in mind, this is an Honor Rumble, so you're not going to see every bit of the style that they can bring. That's not going to happen. Mm-mm. And I understand that, so I go with that. So not too much counts against anyone until the end. So, Sledge, he has a nice... Okay. I believe it was the great Kabuki that had the first corkscrew elbow. And then somebody in the U.S. learned it from him. And then Keiji Muto learned it from Kabuki, and he really popularized that new style of the flashing elbow. So then you got Sledge, who has a very slow, high flashing elbow. It's a slow, rotating corkscrew elbow drop.
It's almost like he's hovering in mid-air as he's performing it. It's just like he jumps up and slows down.
Yes, slows to a damn crawl. But
before he drops it.
Yeah, and it's really unique looking. It really is. I like the way that look. I likes that move that he do. Then PCO come out. So you got Sledge, PCO, and Danhausen in the ring with Caprice Coleman and Brian Johnson. And Brian Johnson keeps taking little spills and staying out the ring. You know, he's doing his thing. PJ Black is next. Dak Draper comes in. Then Silas Young. Then Rey Orus. Dante Caballero from the Ring of Honor Dojo. Flip Gordon comes back like all shaven. I like, see, he needs to shave. He needs to shave and get that done. And Sidra said he's lost. He needs to find himself.
Yeah.
And EC3 was like, he needs to find himself and write his own narrative. Mm-hmm. So then he comes back, and I didn't even recognize him at first. And they had to come out, wow, it's Flip Gordon. It's the old, the new old Flip Gordon. And Flip gets in there and he starts doing his thing. I am reminded why I hated Flip Gordon. Because he was a Young Bucks lover. This Flip Gordon is the one that just outright buries the super kick. One of the strongest kicks in professional wrestling without having to run, and they just bury it. I hate that. I hate that. And then he offers, the too sweet sign. Sidra comes in and she's looking, and she's looking at his ass. He's like, why is his tights got the flip in there like NWO style? That's, I guess he's going for something, or it's foreboding or something. I don't know, but
foreshadowing.
Yeah, that foreboding really, but okay, it's foreboding to me. So then Joe Keys of the dojo, of Ring of Honor Dojo, come out. Then World Class CB, not World Class, but World Famous, my bad, come out. I'm thinking about World Class Championship Wrestling. Okay. And finally, Alex Zane come out. Now, PCO, this is just weird. Okay, PCO, Sledge, and Danhausen started to try to work together, and then PCO was like, Danhausen, I'm just going to goozle you and throw you to the mat. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up, and then help him up. And Danhausen was trying to keep the peace. No. We worked together.
PCO wasn't feeling it, so he pushed him down. But then he felt bad and helped him up. And it was weird.
It was strange, but that's how they work. And I like that. It's different. And it's strange. You're going to be a character, please be it to the full. Be the character to the point where the fans have to tell you to stop being your character. That, you go full character.
Yeah.
You don't want to say don't go full character. No, go full character.
Yeah.
So in order of eliminations, we've got Beer City Bruiser first by Coleman, Malones by Coleman, and then Coleman by Brian Johnson, then Sledge by Dak Draper, Danhausen by Brian Johnson, PCO by PCO. He shorted out and jumped over the top rope and crumpled to the floor. I'm like, okay,
that happened.
Because he can't do what he wants to do, and that he won't gonna do that. Because what he did last time, which cracked me up and shocked me to my core, and he short circuited and ran and tope to the floor and just splatted.
I remember that. I was like, what
the hell? Yeah. So he won't go dive over the top rope and do that.
No, he won't.
That won't happen. He's like, okay, look, I'm short circuited, but I ain't stupid. So then Silas Young is eliminated by Flip Gordon. So there's a little bit of retribution, I suppose. Caballero by Dak Draper. Joe Keys by Dak Draper. Dak Draper by Alex Zane. World Famous CB by Rey Orus. Rey Orus by Brian Johnson. And then Brian Johnson by Flip Gordon. And with most everyone gone, then the stupid shit happens. And there's this spot on the top rope where it's PJ Black and Flip Gordon and Alex Zane up on the top rope. they're alternating who's getting beat up and whatnot. And then you got Flip Gordon and PJ Black with these contrived, holding each other, okay, around the neck so they don't fall. But these little fake punches, fake, barely doing anything punches, just so Zayn can have enough room to run, jump, and do a double Frankensteiner into the ring instead of drop kicking both of them to the floor, because, you know, that would have made sense. Drop kick both of them to the floor because they had both went over the top rope. But just to hit a spot.
It was so stupid. If you're going to climb on the top rope turnbuckle, you get up there, get what you got to get done, and do it. You don't live up there for almost a minute.
If you have to do that, don't do it again. You know, if y'all gonna talk that out in the back, be like, no, that's just too much.
They were up there for a minute, not doing anything. The commentators trying to still sound excited, and the crowd's just kind of like quiet.
Yep, like they're doing something.
Yeah,
we'll wait,
because you know most of the crowd can't see what they're doing. They see their backs and their butts stumbling, bumbling, trying to stay balanced on this down turnbuckle. The other side is seeing bitch ass punches. It's like, oh come on, man! All this you can flip and flop. I'll just jaw him in his damn face and throw him over the top.
Exactly. and so they
miss Ishii.
And yep. And at that point, Sidra and I agreed, and I wrote it down. Right now, I want this to be over.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be over. I did not care. Once I saw that getting started, I was like, I don't care anymore. I was like, y'all gonna do this for Alex Zane? I said nothing to Sidra, but I was like, Zane's gonna win because he's returning and he's new. I'm
it's
like,
not new.
So that's just how it's gonna. That's just in my head. I ain't saying what makes sense or anything. It was in my head, so I just thought it. You know, that's because he's back. He's the new person. Yada yada. So Flip Gordon gets eliminated by Alex Zane. When in truth, yeah, because this Flip Gordon, I don't want to see him in any title matches. The Mercenary was better. I wish he evolved from that and not devolved to this.
If he was going to be the Mercenary, he should have been him, but he wasn't him. He was just, yeah.
You can do you, but not all this stupid. That's what I'm saying. Take away the stupid, and you got a wrestler. You got a great wrestler in Flip Gordon. But he went back to this. He was impressive for the WoW people, but now it's... People want to see professional wrestling. People watch Ring of Honor to see professional wrestling. You know, if you want to see this crap, watch AEW.
Every day, all day, every day, you can get your flips. And
yeah, AEW was all about that. But, oh, man. But we got some good wrestling coming up later, I'm hoping. You know, everyone else has seen this. We just talking about it. So they're just going to wonder how we feel about this. And we're going to let you know how we feel. We're going to be honest. So... last in the ring is Zayn and PJ Black. They going back and forth, and I said PJ Black needs to win this.
I agree.
He needs to win this, but
you know what happened.
But he didn't. PJ Black eliminated himself.
Yeah. He
PCO'd with a partner. He went and dove, trying to do a crossbody to Alex Zane over the rope. Alex Zane twists, holds on to the ropes, while PJ Black goes flying to the guardrail or the barricade. I mean, he just sails to it. You know, so I'm like... go. Yeah, and then what's her name? Quinn McKay. She comes out. She's doing some introductions, letting everybody know what's up, and then she introduces Marie. Right? It was Marie.
Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
Okay, and she comes out, and even though nobody's feeling it, she gives a good, passionate speech about the women wrestling and the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. And I mean, honestly, if I wasn't so frustrated with the crowd, I would have had goosebumps all over me.
They just got a lukewarm crowd.
Really?
So far. Maybe they ain't got no liquor in them.
Or maybe they got too much in them. We all chill now. Some of us might get violent.
That brown liquor.
So then you get promos by other people and stuff about their matches coming up during the show, which is all good. Caprice is back out there looking as awesome as he do. I wish to see him back in the ring more. That man is awesome.
He is.
He is awesome. And then later, as a treat, we're going to see somebody we saw in what was the name of that?
Black Label Pro.
Black Label BLP.
Mm-hmm.
Black Label Pro. So yeah, we're going to see somebody we saw there. And I think somebody that is from Middle Kingdom Wrestling, which is a show I stopped watching because I got tired of them exposing the business intentionally and stuff during their commercial ads. That pissed me off. Just because it's exposed don't mean you need to exploit that it's exposed. Let it rest. Let it go. People got short memories. It's all good. Let it go. So that does it for the pre-show. Oh, wait. La Faction Ingobernables.
Yeah.
Tag champions came out. Kenny King cut a devastating promo
on Shane
Man,
Promotions.
Outright killed it. All disrespect, man.
Shane mad.
If Shane ain't mad, Shane is being. If Shane ain't mad, he done gone crazy and he's waiting to be unleashed on somebody.
Or he's in the crowd drunk too.
Might be. I'd be mad if I won't look it up. And then you got Dragon Lee talking about his brother Arush and how he had to have surgery, so he's not there. So that knee got. Roosh was pissed on that main event. If you saw that before the pay-per-view, when that knee went, because that knee went, nobody attacked it. Nobody did. They tried to pass it off. They tried, but no, they couldn't. It just went out.
Listen here, people. If you don't take anything from this, learn this. Knees do what they want to do when they want to do it. And there ain't nothing you can do about it but hurt. The end.
And I know. All you gotta do is just step wrong, just subtly, and that's it.
Or just live life, and it's like, hey, knee pain.
I work out my knee. It's real strong. Why is my knee backwards? I don't understand. I just stood up from the toilet and my knee just went the other way. I'm going to holler in pain and scream real loud. So, here we go.
Yep.
That's what it seems like. But let's get to the rest of this. Let's get to the pay-per-view, and hopefully everyone's enjoying this because it's going to be a longie today. We're going to try to keep some of these short, but it's going to be a longie today. Matter of fact, it might be 2 days because it's getting late.
Yeah.
So talk less, watch more. Let's roll. All right, so our next match here, Dalton Castle versus Eli Isom, and it's been a small feud for quite some time ever since they got back into the swing of things during this pandemic, because the pandemic ain't over.
No,
it ain't over. It's far from over. Especially now the Delta variant has become the mainstream now. So let's hope anyone vaccinated don't have to catch it, because those who aren't vaccinated think you had problems with the original. Yeah. And so with that out the way, this match, it starts off with heavy fighting. They're back and forth, punching, elbows, back and forth. Not a 1-2, but they're fighting. It's fighting. And Isom gets Dalton to the outside with a drop kick from the apron. And Isom, he nails a high-angle tope con hilo. I mean, he just sails over the top rope, delays it a little bit, flips, lands on his feet. He's got the crowd with him.
Yeah,
it was
beautiful.
The crowd comes alive. It's just the pre-show. That's what I think it is now. It's like, look, it's the pre-show. I am not going to get into this on some pre-show mess. But now the show is starting. Well, has started, and they're like, "Yay! Now we're gonna be a crowd." And so, I got enough notes. Sidra, jump in when you want to say something about something. Okay.
All right. Cool.
So. The main points that I was seeing on this match, because I'm looking and I'm typing, I'm doing the best that I can here. It's a good thing you don't have to see my typing because it is crazy all over the place. All right, there are spaces, words that are jacked up because I'm trying to look at the screen and type. But I got it about 90% though. I'm all right. I do good. So all right. So Castle, he hit a deep go behind and release German suplex. I love when Castle do German suplexes. Love it. He is great with the suplexes. It doesn't matter. I love Taz as a wrestler. So, and I really like him on commentary for AEW. But I would like Castle to adopt the head and arm overhead suplex.
Yeah, there's so many suplexes he could do.
so many. Get your suplex on, man. Mm-hmm. He's more of the Scott Steiner style. That's Dalton Castle.
Which means
what?
What do you mean?
Scott Steiner and Dalton Castle, they wrestle the same. When Scott Steiner is younger, smaller days. We remember when he got back from Japan. He and Rick were bigger.
Yeah.
You know, that was Scott Steiner at his perfect size. He shouldn't have got any bigger than that. But that's what Scott Steiner would do. He wrestled like this. That was his style, those deep go-behinds, the throws, the slams, the takedowns and stuff.
Okay.
You know, using wrestling takedowns, but turn them into suplexes. That's what Scott Steiner did. If anybody out there watched Scott Steiner during those times, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And so, Castle got Isom up there on the top rope, and he hit that running knee drop. Well, the running knee strike. He hit that. That's one of Castle's signature moves right there. He hit that, and then he got him with. And this is what Shawn Michaels took from Scott Steiner as Shawn Michaels' first singles finisher. All right, but Dalton hit a single high crotch suplex. That single leg hold, it's a high crotch grab, take him up and back. That's what he did. I like that. I do like that move. I'm wondering if there's a way to transition that into a pinning predicament without letting go. I wonder if it's possible. But I have to look at that movie and study it more to see if it's possible. But I would think it'd be nice to do that. Isom hit a nice corkscrew backdrop off the ropes. Castle was bouncing off the ropes. Isom got him and just, what's called the sidewinder backdrop. I think that's what they called it.
I don't know. I didn't.
And then Castle on the outside, when they spilled to the outside again, and they got to do their thing. It's a good way to help Castle get this move in. But when Isom threw Castle in, he hit him with that apron spun head scissors takedown. I love that move. It wasn't so smooth this time, but when Castle do it, it's just poetry in motion. I love seeing that move. This is the Dalton Castle I miss watching. I miss this guy. No antics, no BS. You get in, you wrestle, you do your thing. I miss this version of him. It doesn't matter if he's a heel or a face. This is where he needs to be. This is his wheelhouse.
Well, he's always had antics. Just these antics suck.
Yeah, he's not a good heel.
No,
he's trying to be. He's just not. And so Isom in the ring, once they finally got back in the ring, Isom, he hit a backdrop. He transitioned into a net breaker, or a reverse cutter. So that was good. Then Dak Draper gets to ringside for commentary, and I'm like, this ain't gonna be good.
And his bright floral shirt.
And so just right before, as Isom was going for that brain buster, he calls the Promise, and it's a beautiful. It is not Austin Aries power looking, but it's still a beautiful brain buster. That's when Dak drags Dalton out of the ring. And I wrote for arrest, but it was just to set up the next part, which is Isom coming off with the triangle moonsault, but Castle got out of the way.
He was pulled out of the way by Dak.
Oh, he was? See, I was typing. I didn't see that. So Dak, he interferes. He gets into the ring, and I'm like, that's going to be a DQ if you hit him. That's just tradition. You get in the ring, okay, you need to get out. But once you hit, that's a DQ. But he took a kick to the groin, though.
Yeah, he just got caught in the balls.
All in the balls. It lets you know how bad I was typing. Dak interfered and catches a kick toe at balls. Not to thee, is TOEH. Okay, that's how.
As long as you can read it, that's what's important.
I can read my typewriting.
Mm-hmm. Your chicken typing.
Yes, chicken typing. And so then Isom counters a sneaky bangerang with a roll up. A little nice victory roll, wheelbarrow victory roll. And yeah, what I wrote was Isom counters a sneaker bangerang in a roll up. So I'm typing as best as my little fingers can work. Mm-hmm. But then Dalton, he goes for the second one and he gets it. And he gets the win with it. And hey, He gets the win. I thought it was a good match. I thought that was good heel work at the end. You know, at the very end, because that makes sense. If you got somebody working with you or your group that come in and help, good. Because honestly, this makes Isom look good. Because you need help, right? So if you need help, that means the person in the ring is either equal to or better than you.
Yeah, that's true.
If you get help to beat someone that you don't need help with, then that's bad. You know, that would be like Ric Flair gets a job and Anderson come out and cheat to get the jobber to lose. It's like, what? So this is good. Eli Isom, yeah, he took an L, but it shows promise. You know, no pun intended, but I knew where it was going to go. I knew where it was going to go. So for those that I'm talking too fast for, I had to slow it down. So that was good. I liked it. I thought it was a good opening match for the pay-per-view. I got to say that because he got the pre-show thing.
I don't like this whole program with Eli Isom and Dak Draper and Dalton Castle. I really think it's holding Draper and Eli Isom back, but
I see that and I understand it. But here's the thing. Dalton Castle is still mentoring these two. Now, I don't know if that's absolutely true or not. Castle would be someone that, I mean, he's been on the independent scene for so long before he got the Ring of Honor. He's got tons of matches under his belt. He's been in the various independent promotions. He knows what they expect. He's been retrained in Ring of Honor. Dalton Castle is one of the least busy people there in terms of what we can see and whatever they mention. So I can see him getting a program going for these two. You know, lock him into something, you know, get him going. Because he's not under the two-lift cheeseburger anymore or the world famous CB. Mm-hmm. They're not doing that. There's too many of them. Okay. So the group has to break up. And I think that's what this is. This is still training.
Hopefully.
You know, and I think probably by this time next year, you're going to see something special out of Isom. And I mean, Dak has already been champion.
Champion of what?
I thought, Draper television champion?
I don't think so.
No, that was Deppin.
Yeah,
Tony Deppin.
Yeah,
Deppin. But and Deppin, he's been around for ages. You know, I think longer than these two. But I haven't looked this stuff up because that seems stalkery. But still, I like what I see, and I think he's training them. And I think by this time next year, if not just the encroaching summer of next year, I think you're going to see something great out of Dak and Eli Isom, because I like Isom and Dak Draper. Honestly, he gets me as a heel. I want to hit him. I do not like him. Draper actually gets wrestler. He actually gets on my damn nerves.
Yeah.
So he's doing his job well. So kudos to you, asshole. But that's about what it is. You do great. You get a response from me, and that's your job as a heel. So good work. That's how I see it. I don't like you, but great job. Mm-hmm. So let's get to the next thing. All right. So this next match is Jake Atlas versus Taylor Rust. And it was mentioned that they had met quite a few times before, and they know each other very well, supposedly. And you can kind of see it, kind of not. Something happened during this match. Something went terribly wrong. But opening part, the commentary mentioned, I think it was Ian Riccaboni who mentioned that Jake Atlas, he's an out gay person. He's out. And I ain't gonna lie, Jake Atlas outfit, awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. I'm glad they mentioned it, and I am glad more people are coming out. And they should come out. It should be accepted, and it should be the norm. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm subtly torn on it because I need them out. I need them to say we're equal. We're here. We're wrestlers. We're firemen, police officers, doctors, surgeons, lawyers, judges. Politicians, school teachers. We are just as you are.
Taxidermists.
Yes. So the reason it bothers me a little bit, I get worried because I don't want them getting hurt in the ring just because of that. Because somebody else's bigotry is that high that they're going to hurt them. But the more out everyone becomes, in truth, the safer they will be. I know it don't seem like it, but it's true. Now, something went bad in this match, and it has nothing to do with that, I can promise you. But something happened with Jake Atlas.
His bell got heavily rung or something.
Yeah, it was bad. So to go through these things real quick, let's roll through this. This was the opening match. I couldn't write notes down because it was a high level of technical skill in chain wrestling. Chain wrestling, if you want to go to the luchador style, that is basically you're throwing them to the ropes, you're rolling through, you're push whipping them. Instead of doing another Irish whip, you just kind of grab them by the back and push them along because you want to keep the action going. You know, it could be an arm drag. They get up. You don't stop. You don't stop. You keep it going. That's chain wrestling, luchador style. Here in the U.S., chain wrestling is when you are almost World of Sports style. You know, World of Sports is a higher level. But this chain wrestling, you know, you could go for the small package. They kick out, but they transition that into a headlock, transition that into a head scissors, transition that into like an ankle pick, transition that into getting to the, you know, rolling to the ropes, coming off into an arm drag, transition that into a backdrop, but the person flips onto their feet, runs to the ropes. You know, they keep it going. World of Sports, they stay tied together. Their bodies are married together until there's a winner. You know, when you go to severe, strict, perfect World of Sports style wrestling, it's a beautiful thing to see. It's awesome. So this was just US style chain wrestling, and the technical expertise, these two were showing it. It's a beautiful work of art that you see with these two. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's no animosity, so I can call this a work of art. They're just wrestling, trying to out wrestle each other, and it's awesome. Could this have been a shoot? Yeah, this could have been a shoot, and you never know it. That's the beauty of wrestling. People don't know what a shoot is or what it looked like. This could have been a shoot from the beginning. That could have been a shoot. The whole chain wrestling, that could have been one. But then it got halted when Russ used. I mean, he just grabbed that ankle and put it. You know, grabbed it and put Atlas into a standing ankle lock. And I was like, mm-hmm. It looked dangerous. You know, there are multiple things that Russ could have done to neutralize him in the middle of the ring, but Atlas got away. Then it got to the point where they did the whole arm thing, and it's a gruesome thing. You put the arm on the mat. You know, he had his wrist bent backwards, and elbow up at a 90-degree angle on that mat, and then he stomped on it. I wish they had changed camera angles. I kind of wish they did, to be more behind Rust or on the side of Rust, because you could see when Atlas pulled his arm away from that position when it got stomped, because if it got stomped in that position, it might have dislocated something. But still, it's a gruesome thing to see. It's still gruesome, so don't sell it short. All right, a stomp is a stomp. Rust then, they went for a move. It was a flying mare. Rust landed a stomp onto the back of Atlas's shoulder. So Russ is working on the arm. He went to the leg, but he started working on the arm. So he found which body part he wanted to stick with, and he stuck with it. Russ then put on a shoulder arm breaker and then lifted Atlas like it was a backpack hold. And he had him up there on his back with that arm torqued. That was nice. And then he went a little bit later for a wrist clutch lateral press, which is good to hold the arm down and keep that shoulder down. But the problem is, without hooking that near leg, the nearest to you, properly, and putting your weight down on their chest, it allows them to kick out. And that is exactly what Atlas did. He literally used the arm that had no weight on it to kick out. And that's something, when you see it, that's a beautiful thing to see. That's honestly taught even in high school and college wrestling. So, you know, I love seeing stuff like this. This is beautiful. But then Atlas got Rust to the ring apron on the outside and landed a severe elbow shot.
It was nasty.
He hit him. It looked brutal. I ain't gonna lie. If Rust wanted to portray being knocked out, It would have been a great time. If his arms just dangled off that apron and Atlas pulled him in for the pin and he kicked out barely alive, it would have made sense. It really would have. They might want to look back and see that. That was beautiful. Atlas might have a thing there. He might have a small little finisher there, or something to let you know, I have just put this guy in jeopardy and it's going to get worse. So he might want to look at that. So Atlas, he drives a fireman's carry. Now, by this time, whatever happened to Atlas happened. I don't know what it was, but he won't. You can see in his posture, his arms dangled a little bit more than they should have during parts of this section of the match. Something won't right. But Atlas tries a fireman's carry and he just crumpled. His leg wasn't worked on. He just crumpled. He could not hold him up. I know his arms were worked on, and the commentators did a good job at passing that off, but it didn't start in his arms. His legs buckled first. And I'll be honest with you, my shoulder has been popped out before. That will make your knees go away. Your knees vanish. You don't have knees and you don't have ankles. And your thighs become slightly numb. You know you got them, but you wonder how you're floating. But he dropped down. Russ took advantage and started popping them elbows to the side of the head, which is a good cover up, a good thing. But I don't think that helped whatever was going wrong. And then Russ puts on the wrist clutch, foot to the side of the neck, Gail Kim's finisher. And the ref counts 3, but says it's 2, and the crowd let him know it. He's like 1, 2, and you can hear his head clearly hit that mat for 3, and he goes 2, and the crowd's like, what, huh? And they couldn't shout the "you fucked up" thing. They were just murmuring like, what, huh? Hey, something, they let him know. But then something went right. They had a very brief conversation, Rust and Atlas did, and that's when Rust got him he just wrist clutched him to the ground with the twisting wrist lock, and he put on a double leg laced Rings of Saturn, which was nice. He had him all tied up. He Zack Sabre Jr. the hell out of him. And that was a nice finish, but something ain't right with something happened. And Rust, when the match is over, he don't look too happy.
No, I don't.
It's on the still right now. Rust looking kind of like, I don't know about myself. Not that he did anything that we could see, but something went wrong in that match. And considering that these two here, there is no animosity, there's nothing like that. It would be nice if these two could talk to the public on some kind of podcast or something and say what happened.
Yeah.
And then that cycle, and ultimately I get to hear it or something. So if any one of you know what happened, let me know in the comments section. Let me know. Because I got concern for Jake Atlas, which I'm going to say this, that's a very marketable name.
He's got a marketable look. He don't like using his government name. Doing good.
Yep, it ain't John Smith. It ain't nothing like that.
Ethan Bennett. Little Ethan from the 6th grade, I remember him.
With the onion head? Yeah. Yeah, we called him Rabbit Feet.
Bowl cut, yep, that's him.
Oh, man. But that's what happened. That's how this match went. And I'm hoping good health for Jake Atlas. And I don't want, I don't want Taylor Russ beating himself up. However this was, and she just said maybe Jake won't supposed to lose. And maybe so. But if they called an audible and they did it this way, I'm going to tell you right now, that is some next level stuff compared to what they do today in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell. And that is beautiful. Drinking game. How many times every time I say something's beautiful or something like that, just take a shot or 10.
Cost somebody their liver and their kidneys.
Well, how much? Huh? Let's roll, y'all. All right, everybody. So this match, look, I didn't take notes on this one because this is multi-man match.
It's so fast paced, it'd be impossible.
I wouldn't see anything trying to write something down. And I do not know how to type shorthand, let alone write it. But I did put this because John Walters, I was like, okay.
See, I remember from the first round of the Pure tournament. And I think he was the first one to hold the Pure title back in the golden days of ROH. He was good, and he was good here.
I didn't thoroughly remember the guy. I didn't. Because usually what happens if I see somebody that hasn't been there for like a long time, if ever, I know they're not coming back. That's what I'm used to. And they're kind of proving that that's not how it is anymore. So I might have to start keeping an eye out on things. But the only thing I wrote down was that in the opening, John Walters and Homicide together, John kept getting that side headlock. Mm-hmm. Homicide was like, screaming that he's on his ear.
And that ear was all mangled up.
Yep. And so he went for a high angle backdrop, and John's like, I'm still holding it. And then he got
strong.
Yes.
Pop that brown milk dud right off his shoulder.
And Homicide got a drop toe hold on him, went for the STF, and Walter's like, give me your head. and he got that head, and Homicide was angry. So after that, it started going into the whole thing that I knew it was going to. Fast tags, sometimes no tags, people being in and doing what they do. Now, the other reason why I didn't want to keep notes is because predominantly everybody knows everybody in this match. They know what they do, how they do it, and whatnot. LSG showed that he knows how to wrestle. He just ain't doing it too much when he's in the ring. And when you got this kind of match, everybody wants to get their shit in. So that's what's going to happen. That's not a bad thing. But when you crunch for time, you blow through stuff. But I'm going to tell you this, everybody's polished. The only person that actually did things that was a little annoying was actually John Walters.
Yeah.
He was setting up those contrived, double submission holes. He didn't have to. You didn't have to do that. That was not needed. It's really not needed. It's not going to score the submission. The fans will enjoy it enough to not be absolutely bored. And knowing that this match isn't going to end in submission anyway, it's almost kind of meaningless.
I liked it because at least it wasn't something contrived coming off the top rope.
Yes, but it still took forever to set up. And then when he tried to get the half Indian Deathlock on, I think it was Tony Deppen. It was Dickinson. Mm-hmm. He didn't know which leg he was going to use. And then he was going in it backwards on the other leg. So Homicide came in like, okay, we need to break up the monotony because this is looking dumb. Mm-hmm. Homicide was controlling a lot of this match. And he ultimately he got it. He got the bridge. He got the double the inverted headlocks on. Yay! Deppen comes off the top rope with the double foot stomp, and he wasn't taking forever. He got up there, jumped off, nailed it. Okay, my thing for this match, I want to look at Lee Moriarty because that's the guy that we saw.
Yeah.
In what was the name of it? Black Label Pro. Mm-hmm. And he looked really good there, and he looked like somebody I know, somebody we know. Mm-hmm. But I was like, no, his head ain't real enough. And plus, the person we know is bigger than that.
Yeah, he's taller.
Person we know is like 6'4.5", and bottom barrel at least he was 189 last we saw, and pretty much looking in shape. This guy is the person we know, and it would have to be him when he was a teenager and didn't have any muscle mass. But his head ain't real enough, so. But still, Lee Moriarty is who I wanted to see.
If you don't know what a real head is, it's someone with a narrow head.
They got a narrow head. That's a real head. Lee Moriarty is for an independent wrestler. He's probably been wrestling for a while. We don't know. Sidra was trying to look him up during the match, and all you could find was stuff on Pro Wrestling Database and stuff, but nothing.
And little articles about where he signed. That I wasn't going to read because, I'm trying to watch a match.
But can you talk from memory?
He's on MLW. He's got an AEW contract. One of the databases said it's like he popped up and in 3 days he was an indie sensation, so I don't know.
Lee Moriarty is exceedingly polished. He knows what he's doing and he wrestles. He knows what he's doing and he wrestles. Mm-hmm. If this guy cannot be tainted by modern wrestling and he can just wrestle, he will always impress you. He went to the dives. He went to the ground game. He went to the striking game.
The wear down submission.
Stand-up submission.
Kicks. He could throw elbows. No, they call them forearms, excuse me.
Yeah. He did that. He did everything. But when he matched up with Dickinson, now that's a drastic size difference. And I like how the commentators pulled it out. Ian Riccaboni, he was like, Moriarty, he'll land 3, but Dickinson only needs to land 1. That is important. And that is
the power difference.
Yes, because if there was no power difference, something is wrong.
And he worked very well, going up against Deppen. Riccaboni said that they would have, faced each other several times on the indie circuit, and it looked like it. It looked like they knew each other.
Yeah, because when they got in, when it was those two in the ring, it just went so smooth. You just saw those two, and it's like there was no error. There was nothing. There was no... With him and Dickinson, it was like you kind of could see, what are we going to do? You could see those little pauses. What are we going to do? But when it came to Deppen, they just got in, did their shit, and it was done. It was so smooth with those two.
I'm going to tell you, I really did enjoy this 3-on-3 match. And oftentimes they get drug out, and it's kind of lame. But this one, the speed and the action kept you interested because they were wrestling. They weren't just flying off the ropes and flying outside the whole time. There was actually wrestling going on with a little bit of leaps to the outside, which kept it balanced.
And it sucks, and I hate to say this, but I got to. Other than John Walters, the match was smooth.
Yeah.
John Walters kind of threw things off. Maybe he's just out of practice, out of step, or something.
Or maybe he's trying to overcompensate. Maybe he's trying to get back in permanent, and he's trying to do too much.
Yeah, that can happen. But at the end, Homicide is the one that he pulled this match out of his ass that it was starting to be in, and just hyper excelled it as the ring general that he is. He threw this. He came in, and everyone spilled to the outside. He gave them no time. He dove right out of the ring onto everybody, Lee Moriarty and stuff. And what did he do? He didn't waste time. He didn't showboat to the crowd. He grabbed Moriarty and
tossed his ass in the ring and said, "Get him, get in there and get him."
He was cheerleading it. Get him. And they put on all their finishers, and Dickinson finished him off with a Death Valley driver. And it was a nice Death Valley driver too. Deppen, I like you now, Deppen.
He's improved, and he got shitted on when he first joined Violence Unlimited, but I think they're helping him.
Yes.
A whole lot.
Because he has altered a lot.
He has.
But Deppen, you're the heel. I know he's never going to hear this, but Deppen, you are the heel. I know you like your boy. I know you like your friend. But when the match was over, you ain't got to lean over and congratulate and thank him for showing up and all that. You can kick him. You can stomp him. You can help push him out the ring and say, "Get up out of here." But don't lean over and say any nice words. Don't do that. Because that's what he did. And I get it. And I understand it. But I'm just saying, you want to, kayfabe, it can still be a thing. You just got to actually do it. I get it. Deppen was happy. If you watch this match, Deppen was happy. When he got in there with Lee Moriarty, he was like, yay. You could see it.
Deppen was the one that was saving everybody from submissions.
Deppen was a workhorse.
Yeah,
he was the workhorse in this match. You could see at the end. Right now, we're looking at a still picture in which somebody got an awesome picture if they took it. Mm-hmm. Deppen is the only one that looked like he's sweating. I know it's a still picture. Everybody's sweating, but man, he's the only one that looked like I have worked and I'm a little tired.
He's the only one that got hair, baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can see a little peach fuzz on the others. There's a little peach fuzz. They're
bald.
I know.
It's all shaved off.
Let's roll. Okay, so here we go. This right here features the original Kingdom members, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven versus the Briscoes, Mark and Jay Briscoe. And look, straight up, let me just say this. I love the Briscoes.
Yep.
I have loved the Briscoes for so long. They were one of the only, maybe one or two reasons why I was watching Ring of Honor. Just the way they work in the ring, and I watched Jay evolve into a better, hard-hitting style athlete. Jay brings it. I love watching Jay Briscoe wrestle.
If you haven't noticed by now, we like wrestlers who bring it.
Yes. That man can kick the brakes off somebody. Mm-hmm. Love it. Mike Bennett, he's having to regrow on me. Because he was kind of there. Matt Taven, I'm starting to see him. And if any of you have ever followed what we talk Ring of Honor, legitimately, no joke, it's not a bit, it's not a rib. No, I didn't know who Bennett or Taven or Vincent was in the Kingdom. When the Kingdom would come out, I'm like,
who is
that's
this?
a nice theme song. I like the purple going on with the lights. Who are they? And she's like, the Kingdom. I'm like,
look,
who?
You have to understand that it took me a while to commit to memory that they were the Kingdom.
I didn't know who they were. And then she was like, I learned who they are. And I'm like, oh, you learning stuff.
Instead of asking the same dumb question every time we watch ROH, just like, let's try and keep it to fucking memory.
I couldn't.
But then the problem was I could remember Vincent because he was the one that had Michael Myers on his knee. And I could remember Taven because he was always screaming he's Matt Taven and he looked lame as shit. Then there was that third guy. I can never remember that third guy. I didn't remember the third guy till like a month before he left forever. TK. His name was TK.
Yeah, he got injured. He had to retire, didn't he?
Concussion.
TK something?
TK O'Reilly, TK O'Malley, TK something.
It's something.
Yeah.
No disrespect to him, but the way it was, I couldn't do it. And I kept wanting to remember who they were because I like that music. And I'm like, who are they? It
was easy to remember Vincent once he dropped.
Yeah.
Taven.
Matt Taven. Look, the Kingdom was just boring. That was the problem. They were boring. They didn't have a personality. If you're going to have a faction, your faction needs to have a personality, something they can stick with. And all you ever knew of the Kingdom was who Matt Taven was.
And called folks fucking Melvins.
And honestly,
my goddamn nerves.
I'd forget who they were during the match. The intros would happen. I'd hear the name, but I wouldn't remember who they were.
This was for years. I mean, this goes back to when Red Dragon was in ROH.
If anybody can remember them before they got bastardized by WWE.
Fish and
Strong.
Fish and it wasn't Strong. It was Roderick Strong was there, but it was Fish.
I know. I just always thought it was funny if their name was Strong Fish.
Wasn't his name O'Reilly?
It was it was Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
What was TK's name?
I don't know. See what I'm saying? I don't know. I thought was it TK?
I know his name. They called him TK. His move was a TKO because his name was TKO something or other.
O'Malley?
I want to say O'Malley.
I see, y'all. We fail at this point because the Kingdom was just like that to us. We just can't. But now let's speed it up. Let's put it to present day. Let's do this thing. Because Vincent, once he broke away and he made his own thing and got his own little faction going, and he was able to talk and be himself. I like Vincent. And because I like Vincent, I did something. I was recognizing his opponents.
Yes.
And he only cared to go after Matt Taven. And Matt Taven had to grow up. Mm-hmm. Matt Taven had to stop being it's all for me and look all wimpy and just coast through things. Oh no, he had to fight Vincent. Now this to me like an evolution of Matt Taven because now I'm recognizing Matt Taven.
If only he would fix his haircut, we'd be all the way there.
First the haircut was bad. Then he tried, Rick Grimes himself. That looked bad. So then he shaved that off, and then he did something that he hasn't done before.
It was grandmama's curtain?
No.
Oh.
That was the first thing that made us recognize him, really. He wore his grandmama's curtains to the ring.
It was a title match at pay-per-view, and he had that shit on like it was the most graceful thing. It was like...
He looked like a Venture Brothers villain.
He did.
But, no. That did help me recognize him, though, because we picked on him. But no, now he's serious.
Yeah.
Now he's serious. Now, when you look at him now and before, he about the same size. But now that he's serious, he looks bigger. He looks sturdier. And Mike Bennett, who's come and gone, we see him in other organizations. It's like, man, this dude can go. And then he come to Ring of Honor. It's like, I don't know who this dude is.
I don't remember him from other organizations.
See what happens?
Him and his government name, Mike Bennett.
And so he comes back. And now we're like, oh, snap. And now, they're the original Kingdom. Honestly, y'all, OGK is original Gangster Kingdom. But
yeah, they don't know what OG means.
No, they don't. Original Gangster Kingdom. But if you want to do the word original, it's not going to look good because you got to just take out the vowels and there you go. Or ORGL or ORNG. And without the L, and sometimes with the L, it's bad. So they just drop it to OG, which, thanks for appropriating that. People that don't know shit. We're going to get into the match because it ain't much to say. Ate up almost 7 minutes of time. So the things that I noticed that stood out the most is Mark Briscoe. He hits a fast clothesline on Mike, and Jay hits it with the big boot in the corner. And then a little bit later on, just a little bit, Taven lands a perfect side-angled missile drop kick for a 2 count. And when he nailed it, he did nail that. That was a damn good missile drop kick. I ain't gonna lie though, the best missile drop kicks, the old school Joshis delivered that. Those diving, high impact drop kicks.
And put their heels to your chest.
Yep. They were finishers. So then, Matt hit a nice rolling net breaker, not corkscrew style, but it was still good. Almost like was it Vinny Vegas or something like that? He did, roll the dice.
Oh yeah.
That was the net breaker that you liked a lot. That started you on it.
Yeah.
Jay lands an amazing super kick outside the ring on Mike Bennett during a kerfuffle thing going on with everybody all scrambling, doing their doomsday device attempts and whatnot. But Taven, while everyone was, kind of distracted, Taven hit a nice diving moonsault on Jay. Bennett, and Sedrik pointed this out to me, Bennett kept hitting Jay and keeping the fight going until Taven dove. And Bennett couldn't get out the way because he had to keep the fight going. So he got slightly hit, which was a good thing. That was good. Mark, back in the ring, no, this is still in the same little mix-up spot here. Mark hit a diving back elbow into the group, and it's almost like he landed flat on his back, but not too hard. It won't like AEW. He hit, but it won't like that. In the ring, once they got back in and got things going, Jay hit as always, but not with high impact this time. But he hit a great Heyman's Noose net breaker on Matt Taven. Then the Kingdom got in control. Bennett with a high angle fireman's carry and Taven with a running knee strike. And then Bennett immediately put on a high angle key lock on Jay, which is really good. I like how he does that. And then when they spilled back to the outside, just a little bit after that, Mark hits with the apron run blockbuster on Taven. So that happened. Yeah. Because Mark likes doing, he likes some Mick Foley, some Cactus Jack. Inside the ring, Jay, they got back in control. Jay hit a big clothesline, Mark with the froggy bow, and then it was the whole, it started breaking down a little bit, but not in a bad way. But Bennett got Mark up for a death. He was trying to hit Mark and set him up for a double team. Mark got down, got him up on the shoulders, hit a rolling DVD rolled with that with a jumping punch to Taven.
In the face.
And then that's when the Briscoes got the chairs. And I was like, my first instinctual thought was, they got the chairs. They got the chair when they didn't need it. That means they're finna lose. That's the first thing that hit. It's always a telltale sign. And so Jay goes in after the ref get the chair out the ring and all that stuff. Taven was almost caught with a Jay driller, stopped it, arm wringer into the small package, and the ref counts 3, but Jay's shoulders won't set. The shoulders, that's the rule, it's got to be set. And as Sidra pointed out, it's kind of always like that the shoulders aren't really set.
Yeah, it's become so common across many companies, not just ROH. They're still in motion rocking and they're counting, which is fucked up.
Jay rolled, the move is applied, he rolls up, Jay just touches his own shoulders. No, by the time the ref counted 1, Jay had rolled from his shoulders onto the middle of his back with both shoulders up. He rocks back, okay, and is basically almost on Taven. Taven should have been getting counted 1 if anything, but that's when the 2 count came. And then when he rolled back and his shoulders touched, that was the 3 count. It was terrible. That was terrible. I get what they're doing, and I get why they're doing it that way, but they really should have had that shit set first. That sucks. It sucks. And this match comes after Jay Lethal giving a very passionate speech on the Pure Division, and he kept making it loud and clear that he wanted Lee Moriarty to be there, and I want him to be there too. Everyone else is there, and Jay Lethal put it out there. He told him, everyone says this is nice, fresh, and new. And I remember thinking, it ain't really new. But, and he goes, but y'all need to know, this isn't new. Because you know what? The Pure Division is primarily just traditional wrestling rules back from the 70s and 80s. Basically, that's it. Just traditional wrestling rules. And back then, you can only grab the rope 3 times and stuff. They did that. Flair was in a couple of matches like that. But it's usually a match stipulation. Well, how would you do if you couldn't grab the ropes? What if you had a limited amount of time to grab the ropes? Nature Boy, you think you're so great. They would do that. Or if someone interferes in your match, then they're heavily fined or they're suspended for a duration. All these rules have always been there, but they were match stipulations going into something. So Jay had a great speech. He laid it down. He got a little bit emotional. He got a little bit upset. Threw down his shades, which was a bad thing. You don't want to get rid of good shades, even though it was nighttime.
Better than him coming out of his clothes.
Well, yeah, but that's Ric Flair. Reserve that for Flair. But I thought this was good. I thought all this was good. I thought the match was good. It's just that in truth, in honest reality, the Kingdom can't beat the Briscoes.
Nah, they can't. I really didn't think they were going to win.
In reality, you go on their skills, what they do, what they have done, and their styles, their in-ring styles and how they work together. There's no way the Kingdom could really beat the Briscoes. And since we know their styles and whatnot, we know how it should have been, but it won't. Jay showed up enough tonight. But when Jay does show up, the match has a different dynamic, and I promise you that.
Yeah, he didn't do his net breakers like he liked to.
He didn't do most of anything like he got that super kick great. Yeah. He got that one kick in the corner great. But other than that, Jay won't there.
He was letting Mark do a lot. Mark did a lot this match. He was busy.
Yep, I'm going to give it that. And then the whole COVID thing, when Jay couldn't be there, but Jay is there now, that means Jay won't there for about 2 weeks. That means he didn't have COVID. That means that it was just, he might have been exposed and he had to just wait it out. That's all that is.
Well, let's be sure because, we're seeing all these late. When precisely was the last one? What was it called? Glory Before Honor?
Is that the one he didn't show up?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, it might have been a month then.
Glory Before.
Because he hasn't shown up on Ring of Honor TV.
Honor Before. I don't know.
What? I don't know. It's one of them things.
I can't type, and so it's not looking up.
But no, he won't. He didn't make that pay-per-view, and they had to change things.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you've got 3 shows, and now this pay-per-view, so that's a month. So that's I would say maybe he got it.
He wasn't on any of those shows either.
No, so okay, maybe he did have it, but he's in phenomenal shape. You know, good strong immune system, and all I gotta do is listen to the doctor, rest, stay very hydrated. Mayhap get on some kind of blood thinner maybe or something just to make sure.
It's almost been a month. It was August 20th by that, and this happened on September 12th.
So yeah. So okay, he probably most likely did have it, but he took care of himself, did right, make sure he's no longer contagious, get him back in the ring. And I'm sure he had to do probably about a week of rehabilitation to get himself back in. Because you can look at Jay on this show and tell that he's not as well as he was a month ago. When I'm talking about body size and definition and stuff, he couldn't. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But I can promise you this: by the next pay-per-view, if Jay can keep his ass out of trouble, he'll be back up to where he was, and you'll see the difference. So we'll see what's really going on. Was this COVID, weakness, as he's coming back, or was it, well, we ain't gonna win this match, I'll just do enough? Or could have been a mixture. It was one of them. So anything else you want to add, love?
Nope, that's it.
All right, we gotta get to the next match. Not unless you want to just chill and we can finish it up tomorrow. It's 12:40 a.m. for us.
We're doing one match and then we stop.
All right, one more match. Let's roll. Okay, now it's time for the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship. The Technical Beast, Josh the Goods Woods versus the Octopus and champion, Jonathan Gresham. And okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Okay, so look, I wasn't gonna keep any notes other than the rope, the rope break and why and what caused it. That's what I was gonna do. And when it got started, I couldn't help but I got pulled into it. So I am typing. Y'all could just, spelling scissors, SICSSORS. I'm just typing and I get the letters out and I move on. I'm typing and looking at the screen best that I can. Okay, so let's see if I can get this down. And this is early on. This is right roughly about that 5-minute mark. And I got a little bone to pick with somebody's. So, okay, rope break penalty for both due to excessive battling in the ropes by ref Mandak. What's his name? Mark or Jeff Mandak?
I don't know.
It's Mandak. Let's go with Mandak,
He's a verb today.
Yeah, because you know what? It's like Mandark, har ha 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 ha, we're gonna do that. So after the first one, it was a small, maybe 2 to 3 second lull. There's somebody in the crowd. Will you guys fight already? If you want to know, is that type of Yahoo that the independent scene caters to and screws up wrestling. And those independent marks, and I ain't talking about the fans, they're the ones that become on the major screen nationally with a money mark backing them. And so that's why I'm hoping that these top dollar acquisitions might influence change. Jay Lethal's speech earlier at the end of this match, I had to mutter it. I was like, Sidra, did you notice that Jay Lethal was talking to AEW? And he was talking with Lee Moriarty. That's what he kept kind of referencing. So then the timekeeper announces 5 minutes are gone, 55 minutes remain, and the crowd groans. Oh my gosh. The crowd groans.
But you know what I like? They did not stop what they were doing.
No, they did. They did. Let's do something and finish it quick because the fans are not. No, we're gonna do this program. We're gonna do this right. We're gonna go through this match and we're gonna call it the way we call it. We're gonna do what we do. Because I'm gonna tell you, Jonathan Gresham, Jay Lethal, and others, they're training ring generals. That's what they're trying to do. They can call it in the ring. Then they're trying to pre-plan this mess in the back. They're trying to make sure that everyone can call that in the ring. Listen to the crowd and almost, depending upon, go with it. But these two, we know how the pure division is. We know how they get down. So the crowd can be as yokel and beer drinking and idiotic as they want, but we know what's going to happen. They're going to fall in love. That's what happens. And that's what's going to happen. So then I got down here in my notes here. Gresham with the tight hair scissors that took Woods forever to escape. Not a complaint. He had the hair scissors on great. It gave time for the commentators to explain what's going on, how and why, and how it's hard to get out of it. That was really good. That was great. It was needed. And then both of them trying to hip toss each other or arm drag one another. So there was a double arm trap going. And they both started, going back 1-2 strikes, the 1s and 2s with the elbows, but it was going with palm strikes to the shoulders. That I have not seen that before. That was new. Gresham always makes sure to bring out something new. Man, he is a genius. All right. And if he's getting it from some other place, cool. Genius.
Bring it in.
Yes. Wow, why do I taste chocolate cake? That's strange. Yeah, right. Ain't had that in a minute. Yeah, you can see it, that yellow cake and then the thick chocolate icing all around it.
That's not what I was picturing.
What was you picturing?
Picturing a chocolate bundt cake.
I have no experience with remembering what that looked like. I know I've had it, I think. Not sure. Probably not. I don't know cakes, everybody, all right? I don't know cakes.
It's okay.
I will eat a cake, but I don't know cakes. Can't you tell? That's lost on a lot of people.
Yes.
Red guy.
Pantsed.
Yeah, red bin pantsed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been pantsed. Can't you tell?
Mm.
So, okay. So after that, then the referee, Mandak, has to take a point from both for excessive rope battling.
Not just the point, rope breaks.
Yeah, not the point, but the rope break. I said a rope point, but you got 3 points. That's how I see those things at the bottom. They're points for rope break. So they go at it again. They're wrestling. They getting their wrestle on, and then both shoulders are pinned down. Ref counts 3. I'm like, that's a draw, and the crowd is kind of like, oh man, no man. And here's the thing: a good professional wrestling audience would have clapped for that, because that would have actually shown that they both had each other. But since it's a draw, it goes to the favor of the champion, and then that adds another stipulation. It adds another dynamic that you have to overcome. Stuff like that. That used to be meaningful back in the day. But they could hear. Maybe this is planned out. Maybe this is part of what they wanted to do for this match. And it's so cool. It'd be nice if it won't. And it just happened to be that way, but okay. So and I was like, they're gonna restart this match. Sidra knew it. They're gonna restart this match.
Mm-hmm.
Caprice Coleman, Gresham ain't gonna like this. Riccaboni, they ain't gonna like this. And Gresham, he ain't happy. He talks his trash, and I'm gonna be perfect, and ain't nobody gonna mess this up. So the match restarts, and Josh he gives him a hellacious overhand slap.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Just knocked the sweat off his whole head. His head was dry. That slap was a towel. And then Gresham, he returns it. It ain't as hard, but he hit the hell out of him. And then both of them tie up again with the dual ankle lock, slapping it out at the ropes. And Mandak removes another point. It's another rope break thing.
And that was the third.
Yep. And so then a little bit later, after mixing it up, there's a sleeper chokehold in the middle of the ring. Josh got that on Gresham, and Gresham eventually breaks, popping that elbow in. And now hold up, while in the move, the ref is gonna do the arm check. Now, if that in the pure rules match, if that arm drops once, that's it. It ain't WWF style. It ain't dropping it 3 times. You drop it once, and that's it. And so when he dropped it, Gresham jerked his body like he woke up, like he felt like he was gonna fall out the bed. That happened twice. Gresham gets free by working the arm, popping that elbow and stuff. And when when Gresham came to the middle rope, he's gonna jump off with something. Josh countered him with a leaping knee to the grill.
And it was stiff.
Yes. Gresham at one point, once they wrestled a little bit, sort of fight a little bit, but Gresham got Josh down and started landing them back elbows to the side of the head to the point where Josh just gave out. I was like, he's not responsive. He's not responding. He's just limp. The ref, honestly, in truth, you look back at that, ref should have stopped the match. He wasn't responding. He couldn't defend himself. He looked limp. Ref should have stopped it. In all honesty, that's when the ref should have stopped. They look back, they're gonna kick themselves. I promise you, they'll kick them. They ain't gonna tell you, but they're gonna kick themselves. And then Gresham tried to go for something, but rolled over into an ankle lock. And ultimately, Josh he reverses it, gets to the ropes. Gresham does, trying to pull himself to the floor. Woods pulls him back to the middle of the ring. Gresham breaks it with a back kick to the inner leg, and then eventually, after a couple of tries, because the first one was kind of ugly, Josh does land the chaos theory. That, from all I can tell, that was innovated by Doug Williams. And that was back in TNA when I first saw that. Mm-hmm. It's the O'Connor roll from the corner and transition to a German suplex hold, and it's done smoothly. All right. But Josh, he'll do that from the ropes, the corner, or just standing in the ring. So that's pretty cool. But when Mandat counts 2 and Gresham got the shoulder up, the crowd was like, man, I'm sick of this. And Gresham, I asked Sidra, because I wasn't looking, I was typing, and she said that Gresham did slowly get the shoulder up. So he escaped the pin by that. Slowly they go into, but then speed up, go into the 1-2 elbow strikes back and forth. Gresham lands a nice German suplex before a 2 count. Then Gresham gets slightly bit later a Kimura. It's a good lock, but Josh eventually gets out of it, and it looks bad. But at the ropes, when Gresham tried a wheelbarrow, Josh picked him up with a tossing release wheelbarrow German suplex. Gresham landed hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, when he hit, you could tell that man ain't there anymore. He hit solid, and Josh goes for the pin. I'm thinking Gresham gonna kick out, but he don't.
Nope, he gets pinned.
He gets pinned, and is a new champion. And Gresham slowly got to pick himself up. Snatches the belt. The crowd's chanting something. I don't know what it is that they're chanting, but Gresham, classy form, puts the belt around the new champion's waist and, fastens it for him. And it's pure. It stays pure. No one cheated. They got heated. They fought back and forth. They pulled the crowd from being indie idiot to professional wrestling lovers in one match. And the heel and face turn was the crowd, not the wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Now that is straight up beautiful. That's genius.
Gresham had 12 defenses. Y'all hear that?
12. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Josh should be able to lucky to have that.
So if they want, I would say stretch it out so he only defends it on pay-per-views. If you do that, he can hold it for a year. You know, six defenses in 1 year. I think you do that. You're talking about Josh Woods looking at his wrist. He had his father's initials on it or something like that.
Yeah.
And how he lost his father to COVID-19 or COVID-21. Depends on which one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was for him. And this is their third time tying up. Tournament, title defense, and this time another title defense. In all honesty, as much as I wanted Gresham to win, because I think Gresham being champion is very needed, but also if there's going to be a title change, it needs to be that highest top prospect, that guy that looks like he should have been champion a while ago. And we said that about Josh Woods.
Yeah.
We said that, and others have said that. And although I wanted Gresham to remain champion, this title change I can support. I can strongly support this title change. It makes sense. It was the right guy in the right place at the right time. Even if it's for a little, hey, here's to you and your dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was still right. It ain't like, Rey Mysterio getting the world title after Eddie Guerrero dies.
No.
Because they wouldn't have given that belt any other. They never, ever. So that looked phony. This right here doesn't. It looked pure. For us, we're gonna take a break. It's 1:30 a.m. She's got work, and I might have to pass out. I don't know. I also want to work on a wrestling move. I don't know, but it's gonna be a clicking a thing for y'all. But it's definitely going to be the next day. Good grief, roughly 15, 16 hours from now when we do the next one.
Yep.
But hopefully we can finish the show. Won't be too much of a delay. So with that said, just to keep aesthetics going, let's roll. All right. So as we continue with this Death Before Dishonor, we got the 6-man tag team championship. Los Facción Ingobernable, that's Bestia Del Rey, Kenny King, and Dragon Lee versus Shane Taylor Promotions with Sons of Savagery, Khan and Moses, and Shane Taylor. Now, this started off with Taylor getting attacked by King. Kenny assaults Shane with a chair to the leg and back many times, so ruining the chair. Shane Taylor got hurt too. So, I was like, okay, I know what their angle they're working, but I hope it don't do what we've been seeing where it works against the team.
Yeah.
So Shane can't fight, but O'Shea Edwards subs as champion. Okay, so he's gonna step up. He's like, I'll do it. And okay, that's cool. And I'm like, we've seen him in action a little bit, and we was impressed with him. That was before he was a part of the group. And he had like 2 matches, not in the group, and then he was a part of the group, and we know why. He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I hope this don't get broken down. So I'm gonna explain the magic of Shane Taylor Promotions at the end of this, because they got a magic about them that increases their match quality without doing anything. I'm gonna get to that at the end, because I gotta go through this match before it can make any sense to anybody. Okay, so it's a multi-man match, lucha rules. So one person falls out, somebody else can come in on that respective team. Okay, now I'll be honest with you, I'm very used to lucha rules, and it seems that only in Ring of Honor do they do them correctly, and that sucks because it's not very hard. Mm-hmm. It's bad when you can't go into the ring when someone of your team gets knocked out the ring or leaves it. When you don't know to do that, you don't need to be a tag team, period. Just stay singles. All right? Because if you don't know to get in the ring when the bell ring and you in singles, you need to stop being a wrestler altogether.
Yeah.
So, Dragon Lee, he was highly forceful with Sons of Savagery. I mean, it was a brawl. It was a hard hitting, like, I don't know how to mess you up well enough brawl. As he went against Khan and then Moses. But then he tagged in Bestia Del Rey, and he and Moses locked up. And they showed their strength, the back and forth elbows, the shoulder blocks, and whatnot. And the match slowly breaks down and picks up. Edwards, O'Shea Edwards, he comes in and he begins the Oklahoma Stampede, the original version of it on King. And it's nice when I can call things out, and then these two knowledgeable commentators are able to call it out as well, a little bit after me. Toot my own horn there. Toot my own horn. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Pump my emotional collar. But yeah, mentioning Dr. Death Steve Williams, he run to the buckle, turn around, run to the middle of the ring with a slam. It was nice. But you got to do that with impact, and he won't do that with impact. So I'm wondering how it looks if he's designed to win the match. How does that move look? I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
But he couldn't get it, but he did nail the spine buster on Kenny King. Match breaks down. There's fighting. Then Moses, he hits a high angle powerbomb on Dragon Lee. That was and it was weird because you didn't know it was set up, and the camera pans to it, and it's like, oh, he is up there. And he bring him down. And then a little bit later, O'Shea Edwards hit a dragon bomb on Dragon Lee, which I in my mind I was laughing when I was typing that. I was like, the irony. And then immediately after that, Moses hit a pop-up cut on Kenny King, Bestia with a power slam on Khan, and then it breaks down with two outside, and all of a sudden everyone has to dive. I was like, don't do this. This match don't need it. But they do it. And I'm be honest with you, I'm tired of this spot in all these matches where everybody's got to dive out the ring.
Yes.
It doesn't help anything. And the crowd was flat on it. The crowd won't cheer for this because it's meaningless. It doesn't even suit these teams' style necessarily. Not really. And what is Dragon Lee, he dove over the rope and fell flat on his back. He was supposed to hit somebody.
Khan, but he was off.
Yeah, he hit. You can hear it. Smack. Lee just had to just chill for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You could see it. And then as everyone getting up, since everybody's got to dive, right? Kenny King leap over the rope, hitting a tornado on Dragon Lee. Because there was nobody else there.
Unless he just wanted the tornado to the floor, because that's what he hit. He just grazed to Dragon Lee. He mainly just hit the floor.
Looking stupid. You didn't have to. It was not necessary. Not unless I missed it, or we missed it, that he was going to get someone, but they dove out. They ran out the way. But from the camera angle, he just said, "Hey man, it's time to PCO this thing," and just hit the flow. And then Moses dives on everybody. Then Moses and King, they nail each other with awesome punches in the ring. And then King eventually lands a swan dive blockbuster on Moses. I don't get a chance to see King wrestle to really care too much about his repertoire. Even though I kind of see what he can do, it's nothing that I've got committed to memory like that. And so that's when, for me, it's really good when Caprice Coleman or Ian Riccaboni can call out what's about to happen. At least what we're used to seeing anyway. That's when Shane Taylor comes in and hits King with the chair. Moses covers him for the pin with Dragon Lee trying to get into the ring. And STP are 9-0. And the fan, Ngobernable bitches, that neon green sign in the ring. I'm like, that fan has got to be marking out. Yo, simplistic sign got on TV, used in part of an angle, pushing the rivalry of a group. That right there, I'll be like, yo, I'm every day that this is going on, I am part of this rivalry. That's how I would see it. I would be hyped. But here's the magic of STP. Okay? Their music, if you listen to it on YouTube, not really. It's not all that great. But when you hear it in the arena, the echo is louder. It's cool. It sounds kind of hype. Now add with that, when the match is over and Shane Taylor Promotions, everyone in there is all hype, especially Shane Taylor. In the camera, talking trash, being hype. You would think the match was great. You get that feeling like, man, that was a damn good match, man. I'm hyped too. It's magical. You know, not like actual magic conjuring something, but you know, it's that it puts in that emotion. It pumps those endorphins. You know, it gets you riled up, and you're like, man, yeah, man. And so that's the little magic of it, and it's something that's subliminal, and you're not going to think about it. I'm not saying that these matches are boring, because they're far from boring.
Yeah.
But it leaves you thinking the match was a lot better than what you saw. And at the end, it was all right. And near the middle end, it was like, what is this stupid diving mess? You know, I ain't gonna lie. I would like to see Sons of Savagery go against the Briscoes again.
Yes. That will be a good match.
I would like to see that.
Uninterrupted, no run-ins, nothing stupid.
So, you know, Shane Taylor Promotions, they are 9-0 in 6-man tag team matches. I'm glad of that. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I'm happy that they retained, because I'm digging that faction. I'm also digging, you know, Los Faccioni Gobernable. I'm digging them. I like what I'm seeing, and I like what I see. This is good. You know, you like this? Talking to you. You sleepy now?
It's been a long day, but yes, except for the stupid stuff diving off, I liked it for the most part. It's just oftentimes a 3-on-3 has to be executed very well for you to be able to see a little bit of shine of the ones that are wrestling. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest,
but it was all right.
It was all right.
It was a nice. I would give it 2.9 stars. I can't give it a 3. You know, it would have been a solid 3-star match, but that diving stuff, and then you know the whole come in, get your stuff, bail out, let somebody get their stuff, bail out. I get tired of seeing that. There's a certain way to run it, like Cedra's saying, and this, I know they tried it, but it won't it because it's not their lane. Not like that anyway. But they're going to have to change format soon, because people are starting to get used to it. They're starting to know when these spots are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And when they know that these spots are going to happen, you'll see what you saw with this. The crowd gets bored quick. Okay, y'all, hurry up. Get your stuff done. What's going to be next? So you need to start changing up stuff. I hope that Ring of Honor and these athletes see this and then just say, okay, we need to do something else. There's so much that you can do. It's pro wrestling. This is the absolute most versatile style of combat on the planet. You know, the only thing that there's like this, here's the truth about pro wrestling. There's nothing you can't do, but there are things you should never do. That's how that goes. You are unlimited in anything, but the best can limit themselves, because there's just certain things you just should not do. Someone that's 6'5", 340 pounds of solid muscle should not be doing a tiger feint kick. Stuff like that.
Yeah. That doesn't fly.
So we're going to get on to this next match, but good match, solid for the most part. You know, great strike spots, but almost past that and heavy hitting moves. So 2.9, I'm being kind of nice. Just be honest with you, being kind of nice. So how y'all feel about it? Y'all let me know. Let us know how y'all feel about this match. You know, I know we way behind, but we're going to catch up because I want to do this justice. I want to do this right for the podcast. That's my goal. So let's roll. This next match is the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Roxy versus Miranda Alizé. And the order of entrance, because that's from my notes, the order of entrance was Miranda Alizé versus Roxy. Now, here's I'm going to give y'all a little secret, all right? Here's a little wrestling secret. Now, it's not always, but it's most of the time. You can go ahead and test it for any company. You can't mix companies. It's got to be that company. But here's the thing. The champion always come out second or last.
See, I was thinking that when you mentioned who came out first, that crossed my mind.
So that's just the thing to always note. All right. It's not about knowing who's going to win ahead of time, but how. What's the journey through the match that gets there? Mm-hmm. How does it look? Does it appeal to you? Does it make sense? Was it a battle? And I'm going to tell you, these females got one enemy in their match. And it wasn't a run in. The girls had to go to the enemy. It's the ring. The ring is their enemy because of the size of it. When they get thrown to the ropes, it kills the momentum and the vibe when they have, especially Roxy, in order to hit the corner right-ish, she has to post up on her toes to get her arms over the ropes.
Yeah.
And it makes a hammer throw look bad. It makes it like she's too much in control when it's supposed to look like she's out of control and hit it. Okay. So I got that out the way. So I'm going to run through my notes. There's kind of a lot, but there's a lot that they went through. And I'm going to see if I can remember those pieces in between. Because I didn't feel like it was worth commenting on. In terms of something longevity comment. So we got Roxy. She got the bridging hammerlock on in the beginning. Okay. And then transitioned that to a standing ankle lock. Alizé, she was able to reverse and counter that. Fix my damn mic. But put this thing right here, right in the middle. Okay. Maybe that's better. Okay, woo. Okay. Hope I ain't blowing your ears out now. Let me lower it. Pull my shirt down. Lower this a bit. Okay. So after that, they went through tons of chain wrestling, mat wrestling, and they had the crowd.
Yeah.
They honestly had the crowd with this. These females actually did better mat wrestling and chain wrestling than all the competitors before them.
No, they didn't.
You sure?
They didn't do better than Gresham and Woods.
Okay, I forgot about them.
Yeah,
I legitimately forgot about them. Because I'm so used to seeing all the others in the multi-man matches.
Yeah.
It's been a day. I done forgot.
I understand.
So my bad, y'all. My bad, Sidra. All right. My bad, Gresham and Woods. Don't come looking for me now.
You don't want dude with his traps coming looking for you.
I don't need that. I don't need him and his traps in my life.
Him in one car, his traps in another.
For real. All right. I don't need that. All right. My bad. All right. I've admitted it, yo. My bad. All right. So they had the second best chain wrestler. Can we get with that?
Yeah.
We can get with that?
Yeah.
All right.
And the crowd was pleased by it.
Very pleased, because you don't get to see that much in Ring of Honor for women's wrestling.
Yeah, and it made it, the crowd seemed to be restless when Woods and Gresham were doing it, but when the ladies were doing it, they were watching. It was almost like a New Japan audience.
They watched. It was different. The crowd, if you listen to this crowd, they literally paid a lot of attention to this match.
Mm-hmm.
That's new. I would say at one point after Roxy with enough curtsies, Alizé got her, she got her with a serious hard slap in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then she followed that up with 2 overhand chops.
She was trying to make Roxy her bitch.
Yeah. She was trying, but Roxy kept fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
Alizé is an amazing classic heel.
She is.
She is an amazing classic. She earns heel status. She can also be an easy baby face. Easily. I see it, but
she was talking that shit.
Yes.
And she was trying to get her head, and there's nothing you can do about it.
She wouldn't shut the hell up.
Huh, little girl? Yes.
And the crowd was mad at Alizé.
They were.
The crowd kind of had no respect, or it was kind of like, to anybody else. No. They were upset with Alizé.
Mm-hmm.
They were upset with her. So she did her job well. I hope Ring of Honor take notice of that.
And something, we watched several matches with Roxy, and we haven't heard her in a significant amount of pain, but she was in pain in this match. And when she was hollering, she sounded like somebody was killing her.
Which is a good holler.
It wasn't a grunt or a groan or a oof. It was a damn scream, like somebody took the axe and put it in her back.
I could see that. I'm gonna take when I get halfway through all that I've written down, I'm gonna take a very solemn break. Okay, so y'all gonna have to bear with me for a second. All right. So after that, Alizé got her down in the corner, got the face wash on, a serious running, sliding boot kick to the face, and then she hit her with a slight hesitation drop kick, but a drop kick nonetheless, and it was a good one. All right. Next, Alizé blocks a roll through with a kneeling armbar and bit her hand.
Oh my goodness!
She bit her.
I didn't know what the hell she was doing to her because there was so much of Alizé's hair in the way. But she had her on the corner and was doing something, and Roxy started screaming like somebody was killing her. And then she kind of moved, and I could see she was biting her fingers. Man.
Alizé likes to bite. She likes to bite. Now, Ian Riccaboni keeps calling, the back of the head the pituitary gland.
For those of you who don't know, the pituitary gland is located in the center of your skull at the bottom of your brain. If it's anybody who's got their foot there, the match is already over.
Roughly 1 to 2 inches in front of the brain stem that leads into the spine. It's right there, like dead center of your skull.
So
right.
I wish I could send him an email to be like, look, if you want to say the occipital lobe, if you want to say the cerebellum, the brain stem,
the internal occipital protuberance.
Yes,
something.
All of that is in the back of the head. It makes sense. Not the pituitary gland. The world.
Whew. And let's see, Alizé, she hit a bottom rope Hurricane Rana. I mean, that's a low angle Hurricane Rana, but these girls are short, so she can kind of get away with that easily.
They are short women.
And it was to a kneeling opponent, so that's, I mean,
it looked rough. It looked like it really hurt.
Yes, and it didn't look dangerous or anything like that. Very controlled. Alizé is very polished in what she do. If these girls mess up in the ring, it was just a miscalculation, maybe a brain fart or something slipped, but it won't be because they're not trained enough.
And not them floundering all over the place with just hair and ass cheeks hanging out.
So that, I feel comfortable watching these girls knowing that they're not going to jack each other up, and if it is, it will not be on purpose. That's what I'm glad about. So I can watch with comfortable eyes. I don't watch AEW when I look up at the screen. Sometimes I don't watch with comfortable eyes. I'm like, who's gonna get hurt? Sometimes I don't even watch. I don't want to see. I don't want to see when they get hurt. I'd rather see it on the replay. I don't want to see it initially because that's when it's going to be etched in my brain.
Yeah.
So Roxy, she hit a middle rope Thez press. She got a 2 count with that. And then she finally, after the third attempt throughout the match, the armbar was won, and then Alizé rolled away from the other one, but then Roxy gets the moonsault knee to the body for a pin, only for a 2 count. Okay. And Roxy did. My bad. Alizé, she got the return knee strike, or they call the ripcord the ripcord into a knee strike.
That was solid looking.
Yep, she got a 2 count for that. And then Alizé with go to sleep for a 2 count. How you gonna use the go to sleep for a 2 count? How? Now look, I'm not really a Kenta fan, but he introduced a move that's amazing. And I ain't trying to say you should, you should just win because it's CM Punk's finisher. No, that move in real life, if you had somebody up and you dropped them through a knee straight up to their grill piece, they are done. They might not be unconscious, but they ain't fighting back.
Neither is my knee.
Well, yeah. Your knee. Maybe mine too. But that's just the thing about it. You might damage your knee trying to break their face. Okay. So after that, then Alizé, after the go to sleep, she hits a green killer for a 2 count. That middle rope hung DDT. This is from the corner. Jado calls it that, the green killer. And no, I don't know why he calls it that.
A green killer?
Yeah.
It kills green. Okay.
I suppose. Noob killer. I don't know. Not noob as in OOB, but noob as in NEWB. Someone that's green in the ring. They're green. So maybe not. I don't know. Not gonna put words in his mouth.
Maybe Jado hates green.
Alizé, she gets a nice cross-face choke, a deep one.
Mm-hmm.
A deep one that Roxy had to fight to get out of.
It was nasty.
And she sold almost tapping very well.
Mm-hmm. Everything but grabbing the hair. She did what she did well.
And because of this one is going to lead to a mess up later. I'll get to that. And then eventually they get out of it, and with shining gusto, which I think is a mistake, but not the one I'm talking about. Moving fast, like she wasn't just in a serious chokehold. She wasn't selling the choke. She wasn't selling losing air. That's where they was messing up, not selling certain things, trying to get to the next spot. When it's a spot match, they sell less. When it's trying to be a professional wrestling match, they're working on selling. And you should work on selling way more than the next spot. But hit what they call the Ring of Honor, the Lope Suicida. And then Alizé with a Lope knee strike. And that's when they're on the outside for a while. Now I'm going to get to the solemn part of this. Because I didn't want to mention it when we first found out, when Sidra first told me about it. It was sad. But yeah, everyone out there, and people that are watching, well, not watching, but listening, and it's like, well, how come y'all haven't said anything or noticed anything about such and such and such? We've noticed the armbands on everyone for Daphne. Seeing the black band around people's arms, that's always not a good thing. And Daphne, I'm finna go ahead and primarily ruin my relationship right now. Daphne was one of the best looking, wrestlers that I had seen. One of. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of scrawny girls. It's just me. That's just me. All right. I'm not a fan of divas. Daphne had meat on her bones.
Mm-hmm. She was thick.
She had a commanding voice. She had a presence about her. She could play damn near any role that she wanted in the ring. Any gimmick. Any. And pull it off. Believable. But her primary one, Daphne, and her Primal Scream and her
out the damn rafters,
which is a subtle ripoff of Harley Quinn, is what she's doing, and she's never hid that, but she was never outspoken about it either. But she was being Harley Quinn, Joker's girl. And I loved Daphne from her WCW days and up. You know, I just always wanted to see Daphne. So hearing that she had died just from this recording 10 days ago, suicide, and donate, you know, herself to science to figure out what went wrong and try to help reverse, stop, and or prevent CTE and its effects. She had multiple concussions, wrestling for these weird promotions, and some of it started in TNA. Heavy, serious, heavy brain bruises that never had the full chance to heal. It takes a while for the brain to heal, all right? So she literally used the last of her life that she was able to be, I think, conscious for, to help others. So I always wondered where Daphne was and what happened. And yeah, we noticed those armbands and we know why they're there and we're acknowledging it. At least I am. I mean, Sidra is too, but she's more silent on it.
Yeah, it's
sad.
It's
really sad.
sad.
And a lot of this match is actually dedicated to the memory of Daphne. A lot of women's wrestling for the next 2 months will be dedicated to Daphne. And I am hoping that in the spirit of, at the time, one of the last great female professional wrestlers, that is Daphne. Not was, but is Daphne. I'm hoping that they kick it up a notch and show the world women are not the feature. They are not the attraction, but they can be equal to, if not the main event. That's why I do that in CR Fire Pro. You know, intergender matches because it's a game. That's mainly it, because it's a game, and this is pretty much what I did back in WWF No Mercy back in the early 2000s and whatnot. The late 90s and early 2000s, doing that little promotion before there was all the internet stuff. But it's my way of saying women are equal, women are strong, much respect, much love, much heart. You go out there and get it done. That's why I do mine the way I do mine. You know, and that's just CR Fire Pro only. That it don't go into anything else I do. So, you know, we see, we acknowledge, we have acknowledged, and it's angering. It's saddening and it's angering. All right. So this right here, this talk has been long enough. All right. So I just hope that anyone, you know, it's like, oh, we've noticed, we acknowledged. All right. And this is also keeping me away from the main event a little bit longer because I am not looking forward to that 4-way match. Because I'm probably going to do the same notes as I do for the other multi-man matches. Because I know how this match is going to go. And if it don't, I'll be amazed. Okay. So, these girls, after being knocked outside the ring, you know, with the suicida and flying knee strike, okay, they beat the count into the ring just barely. Okay, fine. Then this time they sell it right with the slow back and forth. Building back up. We're beat to crap. We're hurt. We're a little tired. But we're going to fight. We're going to get our mustard back. We're going to start putting some mustard on these hits. And we're going to start coming alive with some spice. We're going to put the color on this burger. And we're going to start having a meal because it's time to get some shit on. And that's what they did. They started fighting. They brought it back up. They went in back and forth, you know, and Alizé hit a cutter, but she was waiting for the next move she can do. And I'm like, that's a cutter. Go for the pin. You know, a cutter shouldn't be a transitional move, y'all. Keep that in mind. That's the problem with Lucha Libre. They make lots of finishing moves, transitional moves, and then the independent circuit's like, they love that stuff. Wow, we can do that too, because that looked cool. We're going to do it. And now you're just burying moves. Now what you going to do? Out of all your finishers, what you got left? Small package. That's it. That's what happens.
Or just stab somebody.
Tombstones, cutters, knee strikes, all this stuff, headbutts, other pile drivers, brain busters, and you beat them with a small package. I'm just saying that gets old. All right? That gets old. In any case, they're fighting, and after the cutter, then Roxy, she lands a running knee strike. Alizé, she snaps on the crossface on her. So Alizé got the crossface on, and this is when Roxy messes up. This is when she messed up, and y'all are probably wondering, like, how, where, how, explain. Because the first time she got her in there, and Roxy was fighting, and then she led into the I might tap thing, and there was a drama. With this, as soon as she got put into it, it was, I might tap. It was too soon. It was too soon. The best way that she could have done that was as soon as she stepped on the crossface, Roxy should have started kicking, squirming.
But couldn't it be viewed as she snaps the move on, because she did snap the move on?
Yes.
And then that initial pain and shock would make you want to tap, but you stop yourself?
Yeah. You just don't want to do it twice in a row. Because it was instant. Almost. And I understand that it was snap the move on, hit the mat, might tap. But then when you think about it, it's almost like she wanted to tap before she was even in the move. But that's not how it was. But that's kind of the vibe it gives. Like she was waiting to hit that spot so she would have to, I'm not tapping, but I just might. It looks like she was waiting for it. She got put back in the move. She should have shown some struggle and kind of yell in anger, and then try to get to the ropes. Can't move. Kick a little bit. Try to get to the ropes. Can't move. Might tap. You want to delay it a little bit. You don't just go right into it immediately. I understand what they were going for. Should have just held off of just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, you get into, or they just get into the move, and then you just kind of lay flat for a second. Just a second. You could count it in your head. One Mississippi. Get your hand up. Try to pull the hand free. Try to pull the hand free. Try to get free. Can't do it. Might tap. There are multiple ways to go into it. Just not instantly. That's the first thing you go to. Especially when you've already done it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's to help build the drama. And that's what was missing from that. So then, but see, Roxy at that point, she's getting the fans behind her. You know, like, man, you know, they was chanting for her. From get-go of this match, it was like, we just want Roxy.
Yeah.
You know?
They were behind her the whole time.
Yep. And Roxy, you know, she looked timid during the match.
Yeah, she was nervous.
Alizé, she looked hungry. She looked feisty. She looked arrogant. No, I would say confident, not arrogant. She looked confident and ready. Like Alizé is comfortable. She's ready for this. Roxy looked kind of like, Mom, please put the belt down. I will not eat the Cheerios this time. You know, something. I don't know. But then Roxy, she reverses that crossface into one of her own, a high bridge crossface. And I thought this would be a good time for Alizé to tap. It might be. You know, it might be. Hard to tell. But then Alizé rolls her over with a nice little leg clutch for a 2 count. I thought that was good. That was good. That was smart. Great ring tactics. And then after a little bit of stuff going back and forth, Roxy lands a Yoshi Tonic, and not a good one, but she got the 3 count. Mm-hmm. And she wins the title.
Yes.
And Marie presented the belt to her.
Very, very beautiful title. It looks like an actual title. It's not all flimsy. You know, like it's, you know, plastic, glued on plastic. It's not pink or purple.
Or that pastel blue or anything like. Even though I love blue, I'm a sucker for blue. Blue and white. I'm a sucker for that.
It looks like a title to be taken seriously.
And that's important. So that was that match. I would give this, I'll be honest with you, I would give it 3.9 stars. I would like to say 4, maybe 4.5, but there are certain things that just killed it. Certain things that just killed it. So that's just me. Certain things just killed it. It's just the ring was part of their worst enemy. But for Alizé, it was her. She turned it into a net positive. She used the ring to her advantage. But when it came to Roxy, she just could not use the ring. Even the point where she slipped on the top rope.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was her enemy. She has to practice with those types of rings a lot more. Or maybe she was just off or whatnot. And you know what? Then at the end, good things going. Family came to the ring, a hug and stuff, and that was cool. And it's supposed to be her stepdad.
Yeah.
But like I said, the way he got into the ring, I was like, he's familiar with the ring ropes. And then the way, holding her and the way he was directing her, I was like, he knows something. He's either been a wrestler, is a wrestler, or not one, but a trainer. He's something.
He might have introduced her to it. Maybe she was sitting beside him watching it back in the day, and that's when she decided, I'm going to do that for a living.
And probably gone to some events and who knows? I don't know. But I was just looking at the way he carried himself and whatnot. And someone can say, well, look at that pot belly of his. There's no way. No, trust me. Whatever his history is, he knew something. There's something dealing with him in sports in general. Because he looked comfortable out there. The mom, not so much. And if the mom's a former wrestler somehow, wouldn't know. Couldn't tell. But they had masks on, and that
was great.
So with that said, let's get to the main event, y'all. All right, this is your main event of the evening. Elimination match for the Ring of Honor World Championship is Demonic Flamita versus Brody King versus EC3 versus Bandito. Bandito. And
yeah.
Now I wasn't disappointed because I already knew. And I wasn't impressed because I already knew. Literally, and I don't know if I said this in the commentary before. I know I said it to Sidra that they're going to knock off these top contenders in one short match and get Bandito over. And they eventually might have to bring somebody new or have Jay Lethal challenge him. But honestly, this is not a good look. This is not a good look, and I'll tell you why. So let me go through my notes, because this did exactly what I thought it was going to do. So, okay. So they pair off with Lucha doing Lucha stuff and US Style doing US Style stuff. So that's about what happened.
Yeah.
Then Bandito hits a suicide dive on King, mostly missing and skidding off his own ribs onto the barricade
yeah.
and into the fans.
EC3 had to fish him out like he was getting a damn fucking fish out of water.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything better right now. I'm tired.
And half lick it up.
I just drank it.
You are drunk.
I just drank it.
Yeah, it don't take you long. You smell the fumes and fall over.
No, I don't. I'm not 10 pounds. Far from it.
So EC3 and Bandito pair off, and it slowed the pace. And the fans can take it in because they started reacting when they could see stuff happening. And then eventually corner contrivery that happens with EC3 with a powerbomb on Brody, and then a rocket launcher senton using Bandito onto Brody, who moved into place in the first place. So that just and then EC3 power bombs Bandito on King. Okay. Then let's see what happened next. Flamita hits EC3 with a chair, and it was a weak shot. So EC3 just snatches the chair from him and beats the hell out of him with it, and Sinclair sees that, and DQs EC3 to get him out of there. And EC3 is walking like, man, I'm like, look, you're DQ'd. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Flamita over there talking trash and whatnot.
The thing is, isn't him taking the chair from him and using it like sacrificing honor or something? He's all about finding honor.
That goes against what EC3 has been talking about.
Yeah. And
how he's been conducting himself. So, yeah.
I mean, that was a waste of an intro, man. He could have just stayed in the back.
Because he won't out long. So then Flamita tries to partner up with his enemy and former partner Bandito, and then King attacks both of them. And then after that, Mexi Squad, they come back and they work together. They're even flossing and doing all kinds of double team moves on the Brody King. And ultimately, Brody King rises up and attacks both again. And then after some contrivery, there's a Doomsday Destroyer on King. Basically, the Doomsday device, but it's an Avalanche Destroyer, but it was a bad one, not a full rotation. But King rolls out the ring. So Bandito and Flamita still want to work together to attack King, but it was a failed move. So Bandito powerbombed Flamita, powerbombed him from the rope. And I'm like, there should be some fighting or something. No, they just used that to reset the move because he went for the pin. It was a kick out. Should have been some arguing or something, but no, they squashed that immediately without even a conversation, and then we're going to get the move on to King now. I like that they tried to reset it, but they should have just went into something else. But gets the back body drop onto Flamita to the outside on the King. Yay! They get back in the ring. There's a little bit of fighting, but King is able to separate them, and he gets the pyramid driver on Flamita for a 3 count. And commentary is all like, he hasn't used that in years. He's not using Ring of Honor. It shows how important it is to him. I'm like, okay, we'll see about that when he loses. That's exactly what I thought. And so King hits a pile driver on the champ for a 2 count. Then Bandito with the Hood Around and Infiltrator for the top rope on the King for a 2 count. Bandito hit a crucifix bomb for a 2 count. Bandito hit a shooting star press after that for a 1 count. Everyone pops because it's a 1 count, not the fans, just the commentary. And then King with a huge lariat, but no way he's going to get the cover. And if he did, he would just kick out anyway on 2. Bandito counters a Gonzo bomb with a rolling scissors and then pinned with the Ramahi straw. Match over.
Yeah. Now, after the match, Jay Lethal and the rest of the foundation with Gresham bringing up the rear come to the ring. They're congratulating, yay, because he's not a champion that's nasty and doing illegal moves. Gresham get in the ring in the street clothes, and he ain't looking at Bandito. He's looking at the title. Because, he wants the title.
He's not pure champion anymore.
So he can go after it. He wants the title, and he can get it. And then Vincent and his brood come out dressed in white. They just stepped away from the pearly gates, clapping and shit. I'm like, oh, okay. So everybody got their bullseye. Everybody come out the woodwork. Since Roosh ain't champion no more, he got somebody who's a little squishier. And I know Vincent can beat Bandito, and I know Jonathan Gresham can beat Bandito.
That ain't no problem. Think about how dangerous Gresham is in the pure division. Now take away, you don't have to worry about a rope break.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying? We've seen what Gresham can do.
Mm-hmm. 12 title defenses.
That is where Ring of Honor will fail, because we have seen what Gresham can do. Mm-hmm. And when he doesn't do that against anybody else,
it's going to be like, see?
It exposes the business.
You got Sonata.
Yep. And that's the thing, getting Sonata. That's the thing, y'all. Sonata got some horrible misfortunes. Mm-hmm. Good grief. So, I mean, it is what it is, and they cut it off real quick because once you get to about, that 59th minute, be like, you might have to start paying for this next hour. They cut that off.
Because, Vincent started talking. He be talking for 20 minutes trying to get his message out.
I dig that, man. You're champion, man. You defended. But you know what? You're not the only one that's going to take this to the road, man. You dig? I want that title, man. It'd be awesome. You and me in a match, and I win. I beat you, man. Yeah. Like, all right, you're no base having Randy Savage. That's where I would be.
And here's the thing. So, Bandito won the title. He's had his first defense. So, he's not a transition champion. But, I don't know what to call him.
Him beating King just don't make sense.
It don't make sense. What is it, a placeholder?
Basically.
He's a placeholder champion. Somebody's going to hold on to it until somebody better comes along. Because I'm just not feeling him as champion. And, I'm not saying he's a bad dude or nothing. There's nothing personal. It's just him being champion don't make sense.
Oh man, getting coffee. Oh man, it's like my throat got parched.
You want something to drink?
I think that's what caused it. But I think I'm gonna need let me get a hit of that. I gotta have something. I'm desperate. It's starting to burn. Oh man, it ain't helping. I can feel an irritated spot, but I'm gonna power through this. Hold up. I'm trying to get the microphone away from me. Okay, it's a bad time for this to be happening, but Brody King, you see the way he wrestled, you see the way he lost. It don't compute. It don't, because well, you watched him against Shane Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You watched him against Jay Lethal. You watched him against, Jay Briscoe.
Yep.
And then he doesn't perform even a quarter of that in this. It exposes everything. And
yeah.
Ring of Honor used to do pay-per-views that were awesome, and maybe they got to get it back.
I mean, they haven't really done them in a while. Well, so we know that they can put on good matches. We know that. I mean, the tournament, even this women's tournaments, they just got the. It's like with Rouge not being champion, it created this weird vacuum, and they're just all rattling around, flying in the breeze, not exactly sure what to do.
Let's hope they can figure out their shit, because they need to. They really need to. I'm a Brody King fan.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't going to win, but I was certainly hoping.
Yeah, I'm like, even if you don't win, at least perform to your caliber. But if he performed to his caliber,
he would have won.
Yeah, so there you go.
Just like with EC3, we've seen EC3 wrestle. Him against Nameka was a good match.
Very good.
Very good. We've finally been able to see what EC3 can do, and he's not all slow talking and slow moving and slow head turns. He can actually go in the ring. So him getting in the ring and basically doing nothing, yeah, it was bullshit.
But you know what? He got an awesome theme song.
He does. With his painted on clothes and his obscene body.
Yep. Well, this is gonna do it for this. This, we went through this. This is pay per view. I'm gonna do it up like this each time, unless you all speak up and say, "No, man, just watch the match, damn many notes, and just talk about if you liked it or not, and move on."
And let us know if you want us to do the G1, because it's coming. You don't sound too eager, Sedrik.
I'm not. They wrestling, but it's taxing.
It is taxing.
on Net Zonta, he said he wants us to do the G1.
Okay.
You know, Zemo times 2 ain't spoke up yet. And
nobody
nobody else is speaking up, even though they watch. Y'all speak up. We don't bite.
I only bite Sedrik.
She only wait. Well, yeah, she bites me. It's cute.
If I bit somebody else, that'd be a problem, wouldn't it?
This place would explode. Don't be biting anybody else. Don't be biting anybody else. Something. I don't know. I would yell something to some magnitude of some degree. So look, we're gonna get up out of here. And I think, what, you finna go to sleep, or you gonna watch CR Fire Pro? You gonna watch The Road for a little bit, or?
I'm gonna try to watch The Road.
She's licking up, so she about to get.
I'm not licking up.
Yeah, lick it up, I said.
What the hell is wrong with you? You know what it sound licking up, not me.
I sound like a perfect gentleman.
Oh,
what are you talking about? So look, this has been Sedrik Kennedy, Sidra Owens, for CR Wrestling Commentary, Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah.
Before Dishonor. Thank you for your time, patience, and energy. We appreciate it. And with that said, good night, everybody.